So, welcome to Boxing Media Hub. Yeah, we are going for it. Just to let you know, no, this fight's not actually happening, but we're going for a fantasy fight prediction, a big one that I know a lot of people have always spoke about and said, who would it be? Who would get it out of these two? We've obviously got Ender as always, my favourite armchair, and
Can't get rid of
Adam
me.
Of
all the
course.
way, who's cold in the States because it's 20 degrees. We all feel for you, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're all going for it. Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson. Yeah, exactly. We'll do a bit of a breakdown of each fighter and our favourite bits of each fighter, and then we'll sort of tell you what we think. But the big thing is you guys in the comments. Let us know what you think at home. Hit the subscribe button as well. Ding the bell and stick with us for any other fancy fights coming up. We're just going to quickly give Kyla a shout out. Big shout out to Kyla in the UK. She's a fan of the show as well.
There you go. Hey, Kyla.
So, yeah, Muhammad Ali, 61 fights, 56 wins, 37 knockouts. Incredible career.
Knockouts.
For me, I think we'll go for sort of the standout fights for ourselves. For me, the fight was George Foreman. George Foreman, 40-0 at the time, an absolute bear of a man.
It was.
Incredible strength, solid guy, fantastic fighter. But it was incredible, wasn't it? To see this guy, Foreman, literally pounding Muhammad Ali. And he was taking the shots and he was almost taking the big hooks to then deliver these speedy hands. And it was almost like Foreman had never been hit before. It was a total boxing lesson almost by Muhammad Ali. It was fantastic. And that's 1974, which he won by knockout in round 8. And the shot to the chin, which took Foreman down, was just incredible. For me, that was the defining fight for Muhammad Ali. I know a lot of people have their ideas of what they liked. And that was, as I say, 1974 Ring Magazine Fight of the Year as well. Fantastic. Obviously, you go back before that as well against Sonny Liston when that was sort of the first sniff of titles in 64 when he won the WBA and WBC. Sonny Liston, no walkover by any means ever. And a big moment for him as well, because after that fight, he went from Cassius Clay to Cassius X to then Muhammad Ali.
Was Cassius X, okay.
So that was the kind of a defining moment in that period for Ali. And then he obviously came back and did a demolished job on Liston in round 1 a year later. So they're kind of the fights for me. Guys, is there anything Muhammad Ali wise that sits with you? Whoever wants to go first.
Sorry.
No, go Edna, go.
I just briefly want to mention, you mentioned George Foreman, and that was the Rumble in the Jungle. But Joe Frazier for me, that Thriller in Manila was an amazing fight, and Joe Frazier, it was such a slugfest, and Frazier, it didn't get off his stool. But Ali was saying that they were about to retire as well. It was that much of a contest. And that I know that there was bad beef between the two of them. And Ali was very derogatory towards Frazier. But I've been told they luckily, prior to their death, they did make their peace on that, which is great to hear because they were both great warriors. But I just want to mention that fight as well because I think Joe Frazier often gets a little bit underappreciated, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was an incredible fight. and it really, I mean, it could have gone either way. But anyway, now I'll hand you over to Adam.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to seem negative, but for some reason, I always look at the records. I go after their losses, and I'm going to do the same with Tyson. Now his first loss was against. Was it his first loss? Who was that against again? Joel, do you have the stats there? Was it?
I knew you were going to do this to me.
Yes.
Let me just get it up.
I don't want to go off screen. I have it on my phone.
Yeah, we all have it on our phone. That's why it was like.
I was just looking at. It was Frazier, right?
It was Joe Frazier, which was a loss, unanimous decision.
15 rounds.
March 71.
Them guys won 15 rounds then, to whereas Tyson never seen 15 rounds. So I wanted to point that out as well. But that's not. Say that again.
He mightn't have gone 15 rounds, but there was 15 rounds champion fights when he was fighting after that.
Okay, I guess that's kind of when it kind of faded out. Okay.
Yeah, well, it was probably at the very end of it anyway. So I mean, he probably wasn't fighting for the championship when that was. Yeah. But no, I get you. Sorry. Anyway, back.
Yeah, no, that's my younger, and that was my younger days. But that's not the fight that stands out. The next fight is his next loss, which was against Norton.
Yeah.
Ken Norton, which Ken Norton is, and why I say that is because he reminds me of more of a Mike Tyson. And that's kind of my point. Ken Norton, now, I'm more of a fan of a Muhammad Ali. I like the style, the dancing. That's the type of boxer I like, more so than a Mike Tyson. But you put a Muhammad Ali in there with a guy like a Norton, and that was his second loss. That's what stands out to me. Norton, athlete. His son plays American He played American football. Was one of the top defensive players. So he comes. I know that background. They're athletic. They're just athletic freaks. Some guys are just athletic. And Norton was. It's funny because I was just watching some film from Norton in his older days, sparring and all. And I mean, just the power that guy had. And I could see why it was a little tough for Muhammad Ali probably to keep up with him. I mean, Muhammad Ali is quick, couldn't get touched, so on and so on. But somebody with that athletic ability and power and speed, tough to keep up with. And it kind of stands out to me with, in Muhammad Ali's career. Like I said, I like to pick the losses and see what happened there. And just you match him up with a Ken Norton, they're the kind of guys that gave him problems, I would think. Not that Ken Norton was maybe as skilled as him, but he had that athletic ability, that power, and he had that speed and could keep up with them. And that's kind of where the stuff that stands out with me with boxers. I like to look where were their faults? What happened in their career to why they lost that? So that's what kind of stands out with me. And I'm the same with Tyson when we get to him. So I can.
Because the thing is, I know you say that, Adam, but he lost that on a split decision, didn't he? And then he then won on a split decision against Ken Norton.
So that's
almost like he kind of, that guy came along.
He did the same thing with Spinks. He beat him too later on in his career, 2 times in a row.
He put sort of the wrongs right, as it were.
So that's where I think a great boxer becomes great. They have them fights and take advantage of what they fix their mistake and they come back. So I mean, they say that one loss can tarnish a career. I mean, tarnish a record and hold you back. But if you come back and you make that wrong right.
Me and Enda were saying this the other day about Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, I was about to say Lennox Lewis is the other guy that righted every one of his wrongs. Yeah. But I think it says more about a fighter that has losses on his record and avenged those losses than a guy who has no losses, in the sense that did he avoid people until it suited them so that's why the zero on a record doesn't do it for me. But if a guy has lost and avenges that loss, say quickly, he doesn't wait till the other person's aged or whatever, like Lennox Lewis did and like Muhammad Ali did, then that's where, to me, it's big kudos for them on that.
True.
But anyway,
True. I agree
Right.
100%. Good point, Edna. Very, very good point. Very.
So, where do we go next? We go to good old Iron Mike Tyson. Now, a fan favorite in so many respects,
Man.
for his devastation, his the way he dealt with things. He was just like Rach said, he creeped her out majorly. He just had that look in his eyes that was, I'd go in there and not in that way, but I murder this guy. There was a look of a real killer instinct that made him like Ali had that mentality to beat you mentally by the way he spoke and the way he held himself and believing in himself that he was the greatest. Tyson gave you the look that he looked right through you and you meant nothing.
Yeah,
And almost you felt like nothing because this guy had already told you that you're going. And yeah, Mike Tyson, 56 fights, 50 wins, 44 knockouts. Unbelievable. Saying to Ender, 37 fights he went on, unbeaten, before his first loss with 33 stoppages. He then, obviously, 22 fights in 21 knockouts in the 22 fights to become the youngest heavyweight champion of all time to date. Incredible. And that was, Trevor Berbick, a win in TKO round 2 back in 1986. Year I was born. Thought I'd just let you know. Yeah, unbelievable, to be honest. Standout fight for me. And yes, it might be because I'm a Brit, but when he went against Bruno first time, there was big anticipation around this fight. Bruno was this built machine, like solid brick wall of a guy. He had the physique of, a gym goer's dream, shall we say. He looked the part. And obviously, when he hit Mike Tyson in that fight, and Mike looked like he had been hit for the first time and thought, whoa, this guy's really chucked everything. But Frank never took the initiative to sort of follow it. Frank was always a guy that kind of hit someone and then made sure they were all right before bouncing on someone, which is why we love Frank.
True.
But Mike just had that, as I say, that killer instinct.
He did.
I think he beat him in round 5, and then obviously he beat him earlier in the next fight as well. So that was kind of the standout for Tyson for me. He just had this bit between his teeth that he had a point to prove. He worked, basically from the Bronx, when he that sort of guy, the Brooklyn guy, and look at him. He just came from nothing and became the youngest something of all time. That's where do you sit with this one? Adam, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I'll go first this time, and as long as you're fine with it. And I'll start where you left off, Joe. I love the grind, man. That's why I love boxing. It gives everybody that opportunity, and Tyson took it and ran with it. Now when I think of boxing, a few people stand out for me as I watched growing up, and Tyson, he put that impression on me. Boxing. It's like watching Michael Jordan of basketball for me, or something like that. Oh man, I just remember Tyson knocking everybody out in the ring. You don't want to say first round, this, that. And then I'm watching it one night. My father and I were sitting there, we're watching, he's fighting this guy named Douglas, and we're watching. It's just another Tyson fight. And wow, I mean, it might have been the first time I shed a tear in boxing. I don't know, I was 6, 7, 8 years, whatever my child age was, but I really it still stands in my head. I remember sitting there watching on the little box TV, and watching and boom, Tyson down. And I was like, wow. And it just stands out. And like going back to like just talking about the losses, not to take away from anybody's career or anything like that, but that is what stood out in my head. Now, and that can happen. That happens in boxing all the time. We do know that. Is he a better fighter than Tyson? No. So we all know that. So the only trouble Tyson, and the later losses in his career, there are flukes. He was older, so on and so on. I looked at the really standout fights that was him and Holyfield. That was, you could say the first loss was a fluke, so on and so on. If there's any man better in this world than Tyson, it was Holyfield. He just could not figure Holyfield out. Granted, you can say maybe they were his little when he started getting older and it was the end of his career, but he was still, I believe he was like 30 years old. So you kind of can't even say, hey, he was on his way out. He might have been at 40 some total fights. So yeah, your body wears out, so on and so on. But at that point, he's still young. And him and Holyfield, that was prime time. He, for some reason, Holyfield had him figured out. And it was just it was two losses, and he was to the point where he bit the dude's ear off. Like he couldn't. He was so agitated with Holyfield and not figured out Holyfield. So, but other than that, man, Tyson was that guy for me growing up. There's a few other fights that stand out in my childhood watching, but Tyson was my legend growing up and watching and just, Muhammad Ali was a little bit before my days, but Tyson was my guy, man. And when you talk fighting, you talk the top of the heavyweights. And so that's when, heavyweight boxing was boxing. And, you always looked at the heavyweights and being the top pound for pound, so on and so on. And just Tyson was that guy, man. He was that guy. He was that guy here. He was to talk about. It wasn't, you heard about middleweights and this, but it was just Tyson, the heavyweight. He was the face of boxing. And then boom, like I said, you can question if the Holyfield fights were at the end of his career, so on and so on. But just when you speak about boxing and American boxing, he was it, man. Tyson was it. Tyson was that guy. He was the guy you were rooting for. Even though he's the badass, he was the guy you were rooting for, man. So that's what you want. So I'll let you go on, Edna.
Enda, where are you going?
Yeah,
I think Adam summed it up there.
Adam very much has summed it up, but Enda will get his speaking now. No, I mean, like, listen, I remember I consider myself just a little bit too young for the Mike Tyson era, but my older brother was huge fan. Oh, he wanted to be Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. And, for those 10 years between 20 and 30, he did some serious damage. I mean, okay, you did have the Buster Douglas loss in there, but like winning the world title at 20, it frightened people how dangerous and powerful he was, because he really did have, that knockout venom in him. And he did have that, ring entrance. He didn't need no fancy anything, because it was just fear. He would put fear into the hearts of anyone walking out. And, he, like Adam was saying about later on, then, of course, he did, Holyfield seemed to be the undoing of Mike Tyson, and everyone has their kind of nemesis that eventually gets the better of him. But like that, okay, he was 30, but he'd been fighting for over 10 years solid. You know what I mean? And and the kind of brutal way he fought would take it out of anyone. So, and then his out of ring activities didn't lend itself to a long career in boxing, put it that way, But like he was definitely the fighter of pinnacle of the sport. During the 80s, Mike Tyson, even though we had the four kings kind of at middleweight, still the reigning supreme was the heavyweight champion, and that in the main in the 80s was Mr. Mike Tyson.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And just real quick, just to add, Edna, you said in them 10 years with Tyson being worn out, Holyfield was fresh then.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Holyfield was
I wanted to
starting
add
off.
that in. That was it.
Yeah, no. I wasn't kind of no, but I was just kind of saying, yeah,
Me
he may
too.
have been 30, but he'd been 10 years
True.
hardcore
It was.
And I didn't
professional
think about
boxing.
Holyfield either. And I was like, and Holyfield was fresh. So,
Exactly,
so
exactly. That's what happens, though.
it does.
That's how the batons are passed on, from
True.
generation to
And it
generation.
happens, man. It does. You're right.
Yep.
I
But
agree. Good
so
stuff.
we've done our background.
Yes.
We've put it all out there. We've shared our favourite moments. Adam's given us the dark times. He's in dark mode at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're important times as well.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you have to go through it all. I mean, there's no point in kind of,
definitely.
True.
Prime Muhammad Ali versus prime Mike Tyson.
Mhm.
We've had some people coming already. Peaky Blinder has said Mike Tyson
All day long.
Another person, Tyson, all day long.
Wow. This is
Tyson
surprising me.
without a doubt.
I am genuinely surprised for this.
And someone's put here, I still can't watch the Douglas fight as an adult. Greatest upset in history.
It makes me sick to a point. Yeah, I get flashbacks. Flashbacks here too.
Well, yeah, it probably was because it was exploded the myth of the baddest man on the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did dismiss him. I don't know if I have flashbacks from him losing or me watching on that box TV, but
because I even remember my brother was inconsolable when he lost. He just couldn't believe it.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't sleep as a kid. I think it was my really first stressed out moment in life.
Have you slept since, Adam? Have you slept since?
Yeah, it's tough still. He just said he can't watch it anymore. So it was really sad. It was sad. It was. It was like it took a piece of your heart, because he was the man. He was the face of everything, You just took down the giant. So
yeah. Well, can I say, and I think Adam agrees, we're a little bit surprised by the predictions so far, but maybe it's because of the age we are.
Age group, you hit it, and I was going to say the same thing.
40 to 60, Mike Tyson.
I want a few older gentlemen, input on this.
This is why it goes to the comments after. But boys, it's on you. No dodging. Prime Muhammad Ali versus prime Mike Tyson. Who's going first out of the three?
You, Joe. No.
Thank you.
You go first, I'll go second. Yeah, and Adam can go last because he'll have the most to say.
I think we've lost the signal to America. Yeah. Do you know what? For me, Muhammad Ali. I've had this conversation with multiple people. I just think I probably got the word wrong. The agileness, he just had that. The way he moved, it was just fluid. The speed of the hands, like especially when you look in that George Foreman fight, George is lamping him with massive shots and bang bang, he's in and he's moved out the way. He had fantastic movement. The way he could move out of the way of shots, he just had the beautiful way of moving around on his pins, as it were, and just flicking the shots out. And you didn't see him. You could see what was coming with Mike Tyson. Whether you could stop it or not was another thing. But with Muhammad Ali, it was bang, bang, bang. And then he'd move out. And he just had, and he had an engine. He just kept going, Muhammad Ali. He just had this spirit that was incredible. For me, Muhammad Ali would win on points. That's it for me.
There you go. Well, because I know Adam's going to have a wonderful summing up and a wonderful thing because this is his big era. So I'm going to go second. Now, the one thing that I'm always brought back to, and it's the one time that I ever saw Mike Tyson in a positive light, as in being a nice person, was the time of the interview on American television where they were sitting there and all of a sudden the host brought out Mike Tyson and the host brought out Muhammad Ali and he put it to Mike Tyson, You versus you in your prime. What's the story? And Mike Tyson got on one knee. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall bless, and basically, prostrated himself in front of Muhammad Ali. And I thought that was the most generous
That's
thing. But I actually believe that Mike Tyson believed that to be true as well. And
Yeah.
I believe that to be true.
me too.
Regardless of whether Mike would have said that or not, I do believe, given the opponents that they both faced, given that Ali survived a huge onslaught from George Foreman, those big, huge punches from George Foreman. Is Tyson a bigger puncher than Foreman? I don't think he is. You know, and then Frazier, that absolute dogfight, I mean, that's another thing you could say that would um, uh, Tyson might have in his locker. But um, yeah, Ali came through that as well. Now, Joel thinks it'll go on points. I don't. I think Tyson will be spent because he will be like, how the fuck do I beat this guy? And after about round 8 or round 9, he'll be like, I don't know what to do. And then I think that's when Ali will just finish it. And I
Bite
reckon,
him. Bite him.
no, he's not going to bite him because he's not allowed to bite him in this. But then he'll be disqualified, and that's a stupid way to give him the title.
Tell we
Anyway,
Americans. That's how we Americans do it, man. You can't. We can't win. We'll bite you.
anyway, well, they're both American, so anyway, so
True.
Ali, after sucking up and taking the huge onslaught from Mike Tyson, Ali will then turn it around rounds 9 and 10, and he will just finish him. And I mean, he can bite the gloves if he wants, because I don't think he'll get any closer to bite his ear. But I think Ali will finish Tyson in his round 9 or 10. So there you go,
Wow.
Ali by stoppage.
Ali fans. Okay, both Ali fans. That makes sense.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what, Adam? We're fans of both guys. That both fighters bring something different,
Same.
and they're both
Um,
amazing in their own right. In the
okay,
sense of admiring what they achieved, you can't knock Mike Tyson getting to where he got so quickly. And
I'll put my hat on, and if I was to favour a boxer, I definitely favour Ali. I'm not going
yeah,
to make any bones about that. But I do think I'd make a reasonably fair assessment. I don't think I'm being too generous to Ali
Makes sense.
because I'm comparing history and history. But I will admit that yes, I prefer Ali as a boxer over Tyson. But we all have our favourites. You know what I mean?
go on, Adam. Go on.
Okay. Wow. Uh, Muhammad Ali. I've watched tapes on tapes and tapes. Obviously, that's what we do with him. Now I grew up with Tyson. Man, he's the baddest boy on the planet, guys. He is the baddest in his day. He's the baddest boy on the planet. I'm going to go with that Ken Norton fight. He lost to Ken Norton, and that's the most similar loss like a Tyson. And same, almost not the same type of style, but the same rugged, strong, wear you out fighter. And Tyson was more of a wear you out fighter. He was just the baddest boy on the planet. Now, personally, me, I favor the Muhammad Ali style. That is me 100%. Especially as a heavyweight, man. I mean, a guy like that can just move and this and that all day. I'm going to say that fighter, except for against Mike Tyson, guys. Except for against Mike Tyson, I just can't do it. In Mike
You know what?
Tyson prime,
I love the turnaround,
you
Adam.
can't beat him. You're
Adam,
not
I
beating
love
Mike
the
Tyson.
turnaround. That was incredible.
But yes,
All day long.
that's it. And you know what? And Mike Tyson, we're going to say his prime stopped when he lost to Buster Douglas. Then, if you want to talk prime, so prime Mike Tyson, we knew what he did. He won in there. He got the job done.
Yeah.
I just can't bet against Mike Tyson, prime Mike Tyson, guys. Whether
what are you
maybe
going for,
I'm at fault for not growing up at Muhammad Ali's time. I don't know, but I
Hmm.
grew up with Mike Tyson. He was the
Yeah.
baddest boy on the planet. He was nasty. He was just
He was all of that.
he was nasty, and I just can't. In his prime, he didn't lose. Muhammad Ali's prime, he lost. He lost. He lost. End of story. He has losses in his prime. Now I see Mike Tyson. Do I see Ali going down? No. I see Ali dancing around this and that. Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson can go to distance. So if he had to, he would go to distance with him. I would literally see Mike Tyson go. I don't see Muhammad Ali getting knocked out by him or not anything like that. Any fight stoppage or anything like that. I see Mike Tyson lasting like a Ken Norton, taking him to distance. Usually I would favor that type of style to win, a 12-round fight, a Muhammad Ali style. But in a Mike Tyson prime, if he's not knocking you out, I still got him winning. And I just, if, like I said, any other fighter, Muhammad Ali with his style. But I just can't bet against prime Mike Tyson, guys. If I grew up watching this guy.
Well, yeah, I can understand that because that is exactly your era,
Yeah,
I mean,
I can't fight that. I can't fight it, guys. Like, and I can even do like other sports like that I watch, like a Michael Jordan. I'll take it American basketball because I watch a lot of it. Like a Michael Jordan, LeBron James. They argue. No, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson's Mike Tyson. He was on every channel, the baddest man. You couldn't stop him, dude. And and the same with Muhammad Ali too. It was the same way with him in boxing. And they say he's the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. But I'm going Mike Tyson in the distance. And I always look at that.
Oh, I think Adam's probably just got a call or a message. But
sorry guys. I just always think about that Norton fight with Muhammad Ali, and that stands out, and that's why I think Mike Tyson would have edged him, guys. And because he was always the baddest man on the planet, didn't lose, and that's just what it is, man. I can't bet against Mike Tyson, so I'd go Mike Tyson.
That's fair enough. I can understand.
In the comments, this is where it sits perfectly with you guys.
We've got 2-1 on the on-screen predictions, and I think it was 3-0 so far for Tyson in the comments.
Yeah. So we're pretty much sitting as
so
that.
You got
the older crowd though, and I would like to see what the older crowd says. It's people that actually have watched Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. But they're perhaps not YouTube users, to that extent. So
I know.
But we shall see.
Well, do you know what I'll do? I'll ask my dad over the weekend, and I'll put it in the comments who would have won, in their prime.
I'm start asking some older folks too about Muhammad Ali to really get into it, man.
I suppose I'm coming from okay. I remember Tyson fighting live, but it was at the end of his, career. When I was very young, I'd hear my brother talking about it, but I didn't see it the same. But looking back at it, just because of that Foreman and the Frazier fight, if Ali can beat both of them, I have no doubt he could beat Mike Tyson. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, as I say, people, chuck it in the comments. Let us know at home. Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson in their primes. Let us know what it is that they did that made them special and made them come out with a win from this fantastic fantasy.
Before we go to all fairness, how many prime fights did Tyson have, though? To whereas Muhammad Ali had a lot of big challenges. To whereas Mike Tyson.
Ali also had that ban in his prime, and to come back after that. So they were both, they
almost had similar, not similar stories, but they kind of.
There was gaps there for both of them,
Yeah, they both had kind of those ins and outs.
Mm.
Still made them back.
The Holyfield losses scare me though, because that was like his real tough challenge, and he couldn't take him out. So
exactly,
I am scared about that. But at the same time, was he worn out by then? So on and so on. Is that even his prime? It's a tough question to answer. So it really is.
So
cool.
let us know, people. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the rest of the content. Ender, as always, great for having you on. Adam, you're a star. It's great to see you as always, mate. Glad you're safe.
I hope you survived the absolute freezing weather. It's 20 degrees.
That's got me sweating a little bit now, though. I'm ready to go.
I think it's about 6. I think it's about 6 degrees Celsius here in Ireland today. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's bloody cold.
We're all confused. I don't know either.
Well, on that note, I ain't talking about the weather. Have some, and we will
Have
see
it.
you soon. Thank you very much, boys.
Thank you,
Take
guys.
care.
All right.